Sometime in the youth of Alexander the Great, the young Macedonian prince was given a present which delighted him. It's well known from the accounts of his horse Bucephalus and others like it that Alexander was incredibly fond of animals, so it's no surprise to us that he loved this new gift, a dog which he called Peritas. In this video, I'll go on a little adventure to tell the unsung stories of Peritas and the other canine companions in Alexander's campaigns. Over the years, the role of everyone in Alexander's life tended to end up exaggerated to the epic proportions of the main man himself, and the same can be said of the animals in his life. This means the straight facts are limited, but the stories which grow out of them are nevertheless well worth telling, with a hefty touch of the dramatic and a little touch of critical inference. We know from Plutarch that Peritas the dog had been raised and loved by Alexander, tethramennon hupavtou kai steriomenon, so we can assume it was given to him as a puppy. It wouldn't be too much of a stretch to say it was also given as a gift during the Peritia festival in the 4th month of the Macedonian calendar, the Peritios, around the time of our January, therefore justifying why he may have given it the name Peritas, named after that. Peritas went on to accompany Alexander on his campaigns, and while the ancient sources mention nothing of the dog's deeds during this time, Peritas became a bit of an icon in later retellings. Dramatic recreations of the dog's life had him saving Alexander at the Battle of Gaugamela against the Persian Empire, and he even ended up as a great ancestor of the legendary detective Scooby-Doo himself. And when the faithful hound finally died, Alexander founded a city named after Peritas in modern-day Pakistan, not far from where he founded Alexandria Bucephala in the Punjab. Possibly from his love for this dog, Alexander became known for his love of other dogs. And another major story about them in his life, which is often erroneously conflated with that of Peritas, occurs when he arrives in Epirus, modern Albania, on the march to India. Epirus was famously home to the Molossian war dogs, often called the Epirus Mastiff, which, from what we know, was a huge, ferocious animal. The king of the Molossian tribe in Epirus, also called Alexander, who happened to be the uncle of Alexander the Great, hosted him there and decided to show off his famous dogs. Pliny tells us that Alexander Molossus brought out a dog of extraordinary size, inusitatitus magnitudo, which he ordered to fight bears, then boars, then large deer. But the dog just lay down contemptuously at the large prey. Alexander the Great was unimpressed, so the Molossian king said, "Okay, let's try this other one for size." He brought out another dog and said, "We'll send bigger beasts against this one if you like." Alexander the Great immediately said, "Bring out a lion." So Molossus did, and the beast was immediately fractum protinus, torn to pieces by the dog. Next, no less than an elephant was brought out against this incredible dog, which, without delay, braced itself, latratu intonuit, thundering out a bark, proceeded to masterfully attack the elephant on both sides, dodging from flank to flank, before the elephant, dizzy from turning and failing to counterattack, fell down with a mighty crash. We can assume it was this sort of spectacle which made Alexander sure of the effectiveness of war dogs in taking down elephants later on in his campaigns. This story also gives rise to another spurious Peritas tale, where he too took down an elephant at Gaugamela to save Alexander. Later, when Alexander reached the Indus, he met King Sopithes, who gave him 150 war dogs as a gift, and Diodorus Siculus even reported they were said to be part tiger, tais tigresin epimemicthai. Sopithes also showed him a display of the 4 weakest of them in action. Here, Curtius Rufus said that the lion brought in was also of extraordinary size, eximius magnitudo, but the dogs nevertheless jumped forward immediately and set about slaying it. Sopithes upped the game then by ordering a man to sever the legs of one of the dogs as it clung to the lion. The man did as ordered with his scimitar, but such was the dog's training that it kept clinging on and bled out on top of the now dead lion. So while Peritas was Alexander's first dog, perhaps even his first pet, he instilled in the great general a lifelong love of the animals and perhaps inspired him to consider them for serious use in his battles. If the tales about his saving Alexander's life are true, one might even go so far as to say that such a dog changed the course of history forever.